steps.
In essay writing.
Yes.
First, you paraphrase. Second, in the first paragraph, you paraphrase. Then you write your
Can you remember the steps? Okay, so first, you have not been taught about the steps.
So I'm also going to do reports.
Pardon?
I'm also going to do reports.
Maybe not today.
This is
It's my last class. You didn't take the training or report the last time. Alright. Then we'll look at it.
I used to go to extra class.
I'm not really sure. Alright, so in essay writing, before we go to those steps, let me make us understand that essay writing or essay task 2 of the IELTS writing test is a formal writing. Formal writing. In other words, you shouldn't bring in anything that's informal in the essay. There are a lot of things you must avoid, and there are things you should also try to bring in when you're writing an essay. For instance, in essay writing, there are things we call the do's and don'ts. The do's and
How do you know that? Ambiguity.
Okay, right here are the do's and don'ts in essay writing. So the first thing on the list is informal words. Informal words. So these are words that are not meant to be brought in when you're writing an essay, because essays are formal writing. So you need to ensure you bring in formal information or words rather than informal. So let's look at some of the things that can be used in an essay that may be considered as informal. Okay, so these and some others, I might have to bring more in as we progress. So first, when you're writing an essay, you are advised to avoid the use of words like such as what we have on the board. So let's look at help. What does the word help mean? Why is it informal? The word help means what? Huh? Seeking for assistance. In other words, what's the formal word here to use?
Assistant.
Assist. Assist. It depends on the context. Then you can also use support. You can as well use aid. These are formal words you should use instead of help. Now let's look at the word very. Very, this, very, that. Good. So it's an informal word. Why is that so? Because when you make use of the word very in your write-up or expressions, it simply means you are trying to lay emphasis on something. You are trying to emphasize on a particular thing. So you're like very this, very that. So IELTS says don't use very this, very that. Use just one advanced word that covers very and that word you are expressing. Do you have an idea of such? Instead of saying she's very beautiful, you're emphasizing about her beauty. IELTS says you don't want that. Why don't you give us she's gorgeous, she's fascinating, she looks so stunning. Extremely is too much. Is overboard. Very hungry, you are famished, you are starving, very big, massive, gigantic, very tall, very big, he's a giant. That's all. So IELTS says use just one advanced word that would capture those numerous words you're using to describe something. Right? So avoid this guy. Avoid that word very. Look for the advanced word that will cover whatever it is you want to describe. Now let's look at the word kids. Kids. Kids is an informal word that is used to refer to children, human children, kids. So IELTS says that's informal. You can refer to a child as a kid because kids or the word kids is a formal word for baby goats. So don't call your child my kid, my first kid. That means my first baby goat. Call your child my first child. So avoid this guy. That word is ambiguous. It has multiple meanings. So when you use the word kids and the examiner knows the word formally for baby goats, it will make sense in what you have used. Look at infants. Infants. Arguably, people say infants are children between this and that. But you have toddlers. Toddlers are children between 0 to 5. So why use infants when infants can mean baby ape, baby monkey? Those are formal words for those animals. You can go, if you go to the military as well, you would notice that infants are the younger recruits too. So avoid that guy because it would give multiple meaning in your sentence. So when you have used it in a particular sentence based on your perspective of that word, an examiner only knows it on the other perspective. So what are you making sense to the examiner? No. Now look at this word, words. Words. Very ambiguous. People use it to refer to children. When you go to school, they say, dear parents, this is to inform you that your child or born. That's wrong. It could be in a hospital ward. It could be at the prison ward. It could be at the local government, ward 1, ward 2. So which are you referring to? Which do you want the examiner to look at it from? Someone will say, I bet when the examiner reads it, you should know where the examiner cannot know where. You should make the examiner see it from the perspective that it should be, as far as English is concerned. Then offspring, or offsprings. Offsprings. It could be
Sorry, sir. Words now. What are the proper
children. Instead of kids, use child or children. Infant, child or children. Words, child or children. Offsprings could be offspring of plants. It could be offsprings of animals. So why don't you go very direct to children? Straight. Is that clear? Let's look at this guy here. Mom, M-O-M, and mom, M-U-M. Is there any difference in those words? Any difference? Spelling. What's the difference? The spelling is different. How is spelling the difference? What is the difference? Okay, one has O and the other one has U. By appearance, yeah, that's correct. By appearance, there is a difference of O and U. Apart from that, is there any other difference? No other difference. Mommy is the correct thing. Yes, but we want to understand what this signifies or what it stands for. So she has identified that there's a difference when it has to do with the O and the U. But is there any other difference apart from her own observation?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if the spelling is, but you can use one referring to keeping moon. I don't remember where I came across that one. Just to keep quiet.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what the first one is referring to.
Okay. So he's saying, which one are you referring to? Is
The
it
first
this one?
one.
Or the first one? Oh, that's not correct. For the first one. Now, apart from that's an observation. Well, we'll bring that up. Okay. Apart from the fact that there's a difference in appearance, O and U, there's also a difference in the two words when it has to do with native origin. One is American English, another is the British English. See, IELTS, you need to think broad. So let's look at it critically. Which do you think is the American spelling of mom? M-O-M is the American spelling. Do you agree with that?
Yes. Mom.
Mom, mom. That's it. This is a British English. Is that not the one we use in Africa, in Nigeria, precisely? MUM. Alright, so that's perfect. By origin, MOM, American English, the British English. And we also said this has O, this has U. That's another observation. Now let's also look at this. This MOM simply means the short form of mommy, right? This one means the short form of this mommy, and it also means something else, which is to be silent. Do you understand? So the MUM to be mom, MUM to keep mom over an argument. So it's ambiguous too. So it's informal. Don't bring it in. This is the full spelling of these guys, right? They are also informal. Don't bring them in as well. So what should you use? Mother. That's the formal expression. Mother. Look at this word, dad and daddy. Don't bring them in as well. They are informal. So what should be the right word? My father, my father.
Professor.
So that's the right word, father, instead of dad and dad, because they are informal. So using these guys in your essay definitely will drop your mark. You would know. You're using the informal words. Right? Now you should also look at what we call okay, I'm going to add this at this point. Look at informal expressions. Informal expressions. It could be jargons that you bring in. It could be tautology, malapropism that you bring in. Someone will write so therefore. What's the difference between so and therefore? Someone will say it is completely finished. Tautology. Because when something is completed, it is
Finish.
Someone will say, go to the extreme end of the street.
The extreme.
Because extreme is the right. So you really want to understand informal expressions of tautology that you bring in unknowingly or ignorantly. Avoid them. They will also keep dropping your mark. Now let's look at acronyms. What are acronyms? What are acronyms? Sir, what are acronyms?
Like abbreviation.
No.
No.
Acronyms are not abbreviations.
Like shorting words. Like example, you write each.
No. That's not acronym. That's also abbreviation.
Acronym. Wait. Okay. Just
Ma'am, can you help us? Any idea? Do you know what acronyms are? No, that's synonym.
It is the one that has the same spelling. So sorry, that has the same spelling but different meaning.
Same spelling,
But different meaning.
the same spelling. That's ambiguous word. The same spelling, but different meaning.
Yeah. Wait, no, it's the same meaning.
the same pronunciation but different meaning. So that's what I'm trying to say.
So,
You are confusing Nigeria. Alright, acronyms are concepts or names or ideas formed by using the first initial, the first letter of each word. Acronyms are names or ideas or concepts formed by using the first letter of the main words. Do you understand what I'm saying? Acronyms are names or concepts or ideas formed by bringing together the first letters of the main words.
Example.
IELTS. IELTS is an example. IELTS is an acronym, not
Okay.
abbreviation.
Okay. I get you now.
So IELTS means International English Language Testing System. So we have brought that name by bringing the initial of each word to form IELTS. You have WHO, World Health Organization. You have ECOWAS, Economic Community of, right?
ECOWAS.
All of that.
So they are
Acronyms. Now in IELTS, you don't bring an acronym in except when you have written the full meaning before and acknowledge the acronym in a bracket beside the full meaning. So when you use it in another sentence, examiner would know. But if you just bring it in, you can't expect an examiner to start searching for the meaning of that when he has a long pile of scripts to mark. So you only bring in acronyms when you have established it in a previous sentence beside the full meaning. Duly and correctly written.
That is, if you want to use like arts now, you say at the beginning, you start by International English Language Test System. You write it up, then in brackets, then you continue. You can use it in other paragraphs
Without writing the full meaning.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So by doing that, you have established that International English Language Testing System means IELTS in brackets. So when you want to write it again, you don't want to write the full meaning again. Because doing that would constitute repetition. And IELTS avoid desist or encourages to desist from repetitions. Now, so avoid it except when you have done what I've just explained. Ambiguity. What does that mean? Ambiguity. Big.
to elaborate.
To
Elaborate.
Do you agree with that? To elaborate. Madam, do you agree with that?
They can stand for two things at the same time. Is a word that can stand for two or more things.
Thank you. Not just elaborate. Not just being big. It may be a very simple looking word, but to have multiple meanings. That's ambiguity. That's an ambiguous word. Like the word, this informal word mom, is ambiguous because it doesn't mean just one thing. It means more than one thing. Words means several things, right? It's an ambiguous word. So when you're writing, IELTS says avoid ambiguity because you'll be shooting yourself in the foot. You don't expect the examiner to come into your mind and see what you have written from what you thought. Your expression should have what we call ease of understanding. Your sentences should have ease of understanding. They should be self-explanatory. Because you won't be there when the examiner is writing your script.
Sorry. Let me ask a question quickly so that I don't forget. You just stated some examples here about like help very kids, infant, and the rest. I know there are more. So how do we identify more of this? Like
You can go to your Google and search for informal words that are ignorantly or mistakenly used in formal writing. So you find a lot of jargons and mistakes. Okay, now let's also look at in your essay writing. Yes, IELTS says avoid overly or commonly used words and expressions. Avoid them, right? For instance, people say this is one of the commonly used word. This is another one. This is another one, right? I says this is common. So what makes you is an intelligent person? What makes you a smart client or candidate for us to approve your application? So you want to bring in things that are advanced because whether we like it or not. IELTS is one exam that has kept a lot of Nigerians back. So many people have every other requirement. You see, IELTS, pass it now. Do you understand? So in a way, I usually tell people, IELTS separates the Agberos from the smart people. Because most of these developed world feel we don't want trouble, we don't want problems. We want problem or solutions
Providers.
That's what they want. So they like to begin solving their problem from infanthood. A woman is pregnant. Towards the period of her delivery, she takes leave, right? The government keeps loading her with things she needs to eat so that the child will be healthy from the womb. Then the woman puts to bed. The government is loading her with food to feed the baby so that the brain will be sharp. Why? So that when the child grows up, use the intelligence to develop the society. But some of your countries will wait for the problem to become very terrible before they start running around to look for a solution. So they want people that can solve problems on the spot. Something you didn't prepare for. That's what IELTS is all about. So when most people tell me IELTS is an English exam, I just smile. I don't understand what they're looking for. That's when you feel IELTS is an English exam. They give you a question you do not know, you didn't expect. Then they tell you in 40 minutes, solve it. So one, if you are not even composed, there's nothing 40 minutes to do for you. Two, if you are not exposed based on the global practice, not your village practice or tradition, it's not what they're looking for. So if you're not exposed, there's nothing your English will do for you. If you like, speak more than Honorable Patrick. So IELTS says, give us something a little more advanced than what the ordinary person would use to express an information. So you must avoid it. However, while you're bringing in those advanced words, be mindful of ambiguity. Do not blow grammar that only you will explain, and you're not it. You know, I always use him as an example. Honorable Patrick, the former House of Rep member, that goes to national television and starts speaking. The crinkle crackle of the Mobokulukum is very moferous.
And lexicology is too much.
So he speaks all of that, even the interviewer will just be looking at him. But actually, what he says are all correct. They are all correct, but there is no communication. So if you are speaking something and the person you are talking to is not understanding, you are just talking to yourself. That's what we call soliloquy. You're just soliloquizing. So IELTS says, bring in more advanced words, but do not constitute ambiguity. So you want to be careful. See where the technical and tricky part of IELTS lies. Then abbreviations. Abbreviations are shortening words, and at the same time passing the information. For instance,
TV.
This starts for what?
September.
And you want to be very careful because some of these abbreviations would end up giving you wrong meanings. That's set there, SEPT. You know it's not an English word. It's French. It means 7. So when you write set, you have written a full word, but in a different language. Whereas you're writing English. So automatically you've even lost it. So you want to be very careful, avoid abbreviations. Every word you must write in essay should be fully spelled, completely spelled. Don't bring it up, please.
Sorry. Let me ask one question. I'm asking you this question. I hope you are not getting it. The idea is that I don't forget. For example, now you are writing. You want to write.
So let's be using IELTS English, not for example. For instance.
Oh. Thank you for that. For instance, you want to you write. You are writing a sentence now. Every word that you have written here, the first word should start with capital letter. Till when you get to a full stop, you start with that next word with capital letter. In between those sentences, can you, for instance, now I want to write like the course. I will start by T in capital letter. Can you just help write that? You don't need to even work it. Like start day.
Should I start in a proper punctuation?
Yes. The cost of television has increased by over 150%. Okay. In this case now, I started with capital letter because something I've read somewhere is like confusing me. The T there is capital letter. The TV there now is the main subject. Can I write that T now in capital letter?
No, sir.
I can't.
No, you cannot, sir.
And you solve one major problem for me. No, I read something.
How is it a major problem, sir?
I read something somewhere that was getting me confused. If I start with this, the television now is the subject. So instead of writing a small letter T, from what I read there, I was supposed to make it a capital T.
No, sir.
It's the main
No, sir.
subject.
In every sentence, the subject, you should identify if the subject is a proper noun or not. Television is not a proper noun.
It's a noun.
It's a noun, but not a proper noun. You have proper nouns, you have improper nouns. Proper nouns
Okay.
represents name or names of persons, names of countries, names of days of the week, names of months of the year. These are proper nouns. No, it could be there are still proper nouns that can be things, but abstract ideas. Improper nouns, you don't write them beginning with capital letter at all. Now look at that TV. TV begins with capital T. That's standard. You don't write TV with small t and you must write it with capital T and small t. But when you're writing the full word television, it was a small letter because it's an improper word. Now.
Okay, what if it's a proper noun?
Fine. So we have something like what's the difference?
Okay.
The cost of traveling to Canada has increased by over 100.
What the 100% there? If I write it in words,
It's okay. It's left to you. So
Thank you.
if your subject is a proper noun, of course it has to begin with capital letter. But if it is an improper noun, don't worry yourself.
So Ben now will be a capital B.
Exactly. Exactly. Because the name of the person.
Thank you.
Alright, so let's proceed. So we understand what abbreviations mean, right? Please avoid the art or practice of shortening words. Right? Then let's look at contractions. What are contractions? Do you know what contractions are? Madam, do you know what contractions are? Sir, do you have an idea?
Contraction when you try to shorten a word or a sentence. I think that is how I understand it.
Then you have the idea, but the expression, my explanation is not okay. Do you have an idea of what contractions are?
Contraction.
Madam? When you want to, yes, the practice of joining two words together using apostrophe. Do you have an idea of that? Contractions?
Cannot. Can't. Okay.
That's the contracted version of cannot. So IELTS says in essay writing, do not use these guys. Spell it in full. It's only in informal letter and in your spoken English. That's where contractions are highly recommended. During your speaking test, please do more of contractions. During speaking test, it shows your high level of understanding of the language. It shows your in-depth command of the language. Instead of saying I could not go there, say I couldn't. I tell it. Instead of saying I cannot do that, say I can't do that. That gives more.
When you are speaking,
During your speaking tests,
you can
do more of
use
this.
Contraction, sorry. Then writing, you can't.
Except when you're writing informal letters. Informal letters. Please, do you understand this? Okay, shorthands. A lot of us are engrossed in shorthands. We are so carried away because of chatting, sending SMSs. So you are carried away. When you go for tests, you are not able to differentiate between chat and examination. So you want to write okay. It is meant for individuals who want to go and express their thanks to him. Shorthand, of course, shorthand will always acknowledge or appreciate contractions too. So he says it's meant for individuals who want to go and express their thanks. You know, the same information that cannot be read by all. Only those who do the same thing will easily grab this. You know. So this is not for essay writing. This cannot be used in formal and semi-formal letters. This can never be used in report writing. Express your ideas in slangs. You know what it is now? You are okay. So when you are using your very casual expressions that you use within your party,
What did they solve?
slangs, all those ajegbele,
Day of
itu,
day.
they, all those pape English, IELTS says don't bring them in. Turgid words, those honorable Patrick's words are turgid words. They are heavy and high sounding words. Turgid words are not incorrect words. They may not be ambiguous words, but they are words that are not so popular and familiar to English users. So when you use them, you need to go and explain to the examiner when they are marking your scripts. And unfortunately, you don't even know who is marking it. Right? So please, avoid turgid words. Use very direct words, but yet advanced. Right? Then, of course, here says ensure ease of understanding in your sentences.
Sorry, sir. Let me quickly ask one question. Like, if you listen, those touchy words. Like, for example, the microscopic view. Eh? That one is not too heavy.
Microscopic.
View. That one is not too heavy.
You use this, you hear this many Nigerian government. The microscopic few who are perpetrating this problem.
The originator, Patrick.
Yes, now it may not be ambiguous, but it's not for everyone. Let's look at it this way. You want to talk to a child or a student who is in GSS3 who has not been exposed to such level of vocabulary. The only microscope. And then instead of using microscope, as the child knows, they say microscopic. The communication is not balanced. Right? So it is strongly encouraged that you use words that whoever reads your sentence would understand it easily. It should be self-explanatory. Whether or not you are there.
Thank you.
Microscopic. Okay, now it should be self-explanatory. Always ensure you have ease of understanding, or you create your write-ups to have or possess ease of understanding, so that the examiner, whenever he or she reads whatever it is you have written, should know and understand it from your own perspective. It's very important. Then advanced vocabularies. For your essay to be catchy, standard, professional, you must use advanced vocabularies. You must. This does not mean every sentence should be so advanced. No. But in each sentence, have some 1, 2, or 3 advanced vocabularies in it. So how do you get advanced vocabularies? How do you even know that a vocabulary is advanced? How do you know? So you want to, let's look at it this way. For instance, if I say my father and mother will be traveling to the UK by this time tomorrow. My father and mother will be traveling to the UK by this time tomorrow for a short holiday. Please do you understand this sentence?
Yeah.
My father and mother will be traveling to the UK by this time tomorrow for a short holiday. It's not advanced. It's not advanced. Don't worry yourself. Can we get the advanced version of this? My father and mother will be traveling to the UK by this time tomorrow on a short holiday. Who can express this in an advanced way?
Let me try. My parents will be taking a vacation to the UK at about this time.
Right? That's another way. Perfect. My father and mother.
My parents
Thank you.
taking a vacation. Sorry, taking a trip to the UK,
To
the United Kingdom.
in IELTS, give the full meaning.
Not you.
Not UK. Because UK is an acronym. Remember we said for you to use an acronym, you must have established the full meaning. In their questions, they will use UK. Oh, they are testing you. Don't forget, you are the one being tested. So when you see it, they want to see how you can express it in a more advanced way. So first, my parents will be embarking on a trip to the United Kingdom 24 hours from now on a short or brief vacation. That's all. You understand? So IELTS expects you to show off advanced vocabularies devoid of ambiguities, devoid of being touchy. Parents is popular. It captures father and mother. Traveling and back on a trip. Right? UK, United Kingdom, full meaning. Anybody that reads it will understand it as United. There's no two ways. But UK can mean anything. People can fabricate U and K to be something else. It could be a company name. But United Kingdom is just direct. Brief vacation, straight. It doesn't have two meanings. So your expressions should be advanced and possess ease of understanding. So how do you build advanced vocabulary? It's not how you're supposed to build it. You ought to have built vocabularies before that. So this is where our foundation is a problem to us. So sometimes our inability to express ourselves easily in writing and in the spoken English is not because the English is difficult, it's because of our foundation. Most of us were not grounded, and then most of us didn't actually put interests. There are two things here. You may have an exposed and well-traveled teacher, but the teacher cannot open your brain and put it, right? They say, English people will tell you, you can only take the horse to the stream. You can't force the stream. You can only take the horse to the stream, but you cannot force the horse to drink. So it takes interest, personal effort. But we still can amend certain things before our exam. So you want to use Google or Wikipedia or your dictionary to build some vocabularies before the test. So go to Google and type list of advanced vocabularies for writing essay on agriculture. List of vocabularies, advanced vocabularies for writing an essay on economy. Because you don't know where your question will come from, right? IELTS questions can come from different sectors. Some questions can come from IT, some can come from hospitality, some can come from health, some can come from education, some from agriculture, some from tourism. So you don't know. So if you just say you want to go and learn about education, and that's all, and on that is coming from sports, you'll be stranded. So take some time, build vocabularies on the different sectors. Go to Google, ask the right questions, you get your right answers. You can even use the AI this time around. You can use ChatGPT. All of those things are there. So use them positively for your growth. Now, when you get those list of words, list of advanced words, don't stop at that. Look for dictionary. Understand the meaning of those words. So you can apply them in the right context. You know, you can use some right words in wrong situations. English call it malapropism. Malapropism. The wrong application of words in the wrong context. So you don't want to misfire. So get the meanings of those words, and when you find the meaning, don't stop at that. Look for their synonyms. Their synonyms. Getting their synonyms will help you to have choices, options. In case you want to repeat the same words in another sentence, use the synonym. Because when you repeat one word here and repeat it in another sentence, you lose back. because you are constituting repetition. And IELTS says
Is it all words or some?
keywords, advanced words.
Because if you are writing an essay, at times, okay, there is always a similar word to it, but it won't that create confusion.
No, sir. No, sir. I always like to use this example. Okay. This is just a little expression. I would like you to paraphrase this information. Now, if you look at this, you will notice that the word was repeated twice, right? What word is that?
Country.
Please, let's paraphrase this word. And that's the information. So I'll start with you. No, ladies first. I'll start with you.
Certain developed country prefer to hire experts, prefer to hire professionals from the poor country.
Final answer. Ma'am, can you paraphrase?
Certain developed countries prefer to hire.
That's developed.
Okay.
This is developed.
Oh, sorry. Certain developed countries prefer other. The country can I say nation or
Now, you tell us what you prefer.
something developed I am God.
Amechi, Edidion.
Some first what's the name of that?
You like to
First word.
forget things.
I'm listening. I love that.
Okay.
Some wealthy countries
Sorry.
tend to hire professionals from other struggling countries.
Struggling countries. Yes, please.
Certain advanced nations tend to hire experts from the poor countries.
Yes, sir.
Certain advanced nations prefer to engage professionals from developing nations.
So you repeated nations twice.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Certain advanced nations prefer to engage professionals from developing
These experts.
Does engaging mean hiring?
yes.
So if I engage you here,
Okay.
I've hired you.
Okay. Okay. about hire is another word for hire should wait, hire, employ professionals from developing nations.
Right. You see this small sentence, this small test. All right. So some of us got 9. Some of us came up with nice synonyms. So the secret is the more you practice with synonyms, the more they will be closer to you. If not, simple words you know, when you need them, they'll go on vacation. When you leave the exam hall, they'll come back after you must have submitted.
I heard you people have the solution to that.
No, we don't have it.
The drug to task with.
So you need to use your synonyms more often so that they'll be closer to you. Certain or a number of affluent or wealthy or advanced or influential or first world industrialized. There are so many expressions you can use. Developed countries. Then nations choose to recruit or employ professionals from underdeveloped countries. Right? Now, what did I do? Here, this is people say first impression matters. So countries should be substituted first. Then you can retain this. So when you read, you see that here is nations, here is country. There's no repetition. Please, do you understand the concept here?
Yes, sir.
You need to build this vocabulary.
So, a number of African nations choose to employ professionals
From
from
developing or underdeveloped or impoverished or unwealthy or unreached countries. There's so many words. Okay, so please, to achieve advanced vocabularies, you are advised to make your research. Get a list of words that can be used for different sectors. Then get their meanings. Know how to apply them both in the written English and in the spoken English, because they are two different things. If you use your spoken English in the written test, it's going to be slang. Most of them will be informal. So you want to understand the meaning of the word, know its application both in the written English and in the spoken English, then get their synonyms.
So
Yes, sir.
let me quickly ask the exams now in general, there is spoken part of it.
Yes, there is.
Serious.
You have the exam comes in 4 testing areas. You have the listening, the reading, the writing, and the speaking.
The speaking, or what, how is it like?
Examiner will engage you for like 10 to 15 minutes.
That one carries how many more?
The same mark
40.
between bands score 2.0 to 9.0. That's what you score. End of that.
2.0
To 9.0.
in each of the 4 tests.
Yes, you are being banded based on your performance. So at the end of the day, they now add everything and still divide by 4 to get your overall band score.
Passing mark is 7 points.
It depends on what you want to apply. But 6.0 for study is not bad. 6.5 is not bad. 7.0 is perfect. For job, it depends on the job. 5.0 can be perfect. 6.0 can be perfect. But 7.0 is standard. It qualifies you for it.
So is every school like this one that you want to register manually for that if you get 5.0 in that in one of them can enter?
I saw it. Okay.
I have not even filed any application yet. I was going to do that. So when I make my wide research, if there's a school that can accept this, fine. If not, then we might advise advise him on what to do. There are options that you can take that this can still fly for you. Yes, sir.
I saw a message on my WhatsApp this late at night about some discount.
IELTS?
Yes. I see it's one-sided.
That's what this gave us. That's what IELTS gave us. Of course, a lot of people will not go for computer at this time around. But people want to go for options that they are comfortable doing.
And us that don't have option.
That's what we have.
Do they seek your opinions or your opinion or opinions at all?
Yes, they do.
And concerning the computer-based test, what they
Whether it should be made to exist or not.
no, it should be optional.
Okay, well, this is not from Nigeria. This is the British government.
I know.
This is the British.
I know. And that's why I said they seek your opinion.
No, this is why is it to do with their decision policies? It is left to them. Ours is to advertise and market their product, which is British Islands. Okay, so let's go back. I believe we have understood what you are expected to do at this point, right? Now let's look at compound and complex sentences. A lot of people give, especially during speaking tests. Let me tell us why we do speaking tests. I'm doing a little deviation. One of the major reasons people face speaking tests is because they feel they are introverted. They don't like to talk neat. So you ask them, what's your name? Ben. What can I call you? Ben. Where are you from? The States. Do you like to travel? Yes. You are giving an exam that is fine. I expect to pass. You should make advanced sentences. What's your name? Well, thank you so much for this question. My name is Benedict. What can I call you? For the purpose of this exam and for ease of pronunciation, you can call me by my short name, Ben. You are engaging the examiner because they want to hear you speak, for them to ascertain and confirm and approve that this person can speak. But when you keep giving attitude of what's your name? My name is Ben. What can I call you? Ben is fine. Where are you from? I'm in State, Nigeria. What do you do? I'm a student. Okay? You will go home. You will go home. You're not ready yet. So in your essay writing, even if you are introverted, when you're going for IELTS, remove that clothes and keep at home. We are the one that will enable you to make longer. Because that's what will help them to confirm that you have something to give when you come to their country. I'm emphasizing on this, so you must convince some countries such as Canada. You know they don't do interview. I hope you are aware. This is their interview. IELTS is their interview.
Wait, they don't do interview in the embassy.
No, there's no interview. Nothing. It is your documents that they look at. It's your qualification. So IELTS indirectly constitutes their interview. By the time they engage you physically for speaking tests, they get to hear you. They get to analyze your quality of intelligence and expression. You call somebody that wants to go and become a nanny in Canada to a family that the baby is still growing, and the person is telling you, my name is Irinda, I landed in Lagos for London. I want them to hire you.
Even though you are good at it.
No matter how good you are going to influence their child to be speaking hero, daddy. So they won't do that. So they want to see if you can even manage it. Manage the mother tongue interference. Yes, it's natural. My heart is hurting me. I went to church. People were shouting. So they want to see how you can manage it. With that, they are fine. They believe that yes, as long as you have control over it, it's not an issue. So in your essay writing, do more of compound sentences. What is this compound sentence?
Sorry, sir. I wanted to ask a question, but I don't know if we are coming back to this.
What's that?
About the interview, the oral interview.
I'm thinking of that. IELTS is giving people thoughts.
No,
Yes, I go ahead.
Okay, now, like I don't know the format or the pattern.
Oh yes, I'll teach you. Don't worry.
If you are teaching, okay, when we get,
I'll take you through
let
that.
me not take time. Let
It
me
will
not
take like
Don't worry.
listening, like listening, like.
I will take you on all the skills. Report writing? Yes, I said I'll revise it. I'll take you on speaking test. Don't worry. Speaking test should be the list of your concerns. It should be the list. It's easy. It can give you your highest band score.
So sorry, in writing now, if you score half, if you get half of the questions correct, what is your score mark going to be like?
In essay,
Yes.
the examiners will look at what you have written so far. They assess the quality of your response, how you're bringing in the solution. But after this, I'll also show you how your assessments are conducted.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, the essay writing. That's what we did on Friday. What we wrote about climate change and what I mean. We wrote on two things. That is all for.
Yes. The writing test.
Okay. Go ahead.
Is it clear?
Go ahead. So what I'm saying now, okay, for that is essay writing. For hearing, if you score listening, if you score 20, there are 40 questions, right? If you score 20 correctly, what is the score mark?
I think 5.5 or so. Yeah, about 5.5.
It's not good enough.
That is not. Listening test is usually expected to even come out high. See, listening and reading. These two. Because first, you must ensure that you can hear the Igbo. If not, as in
No, I get that. If you score half of the questions correct, it's not good enough.
it's not good enough.
30,
From 28 above
okay.
is fair. From 28 above is fair. Because it only proves that you can listen to a native English speaker and understand.
Okay.
So that you don't go there and start reading.
If we come to that, there are certain things I practice during the weekend. I took my time. I didn't even go to church yesterday. So there are certain things, maybe for the benefit of others, I want to share it. Then where I'm finding it difficult to, I will let you know so that from there you can put us to.
No problem. Alright, so let's quickly complete this and move to the next phase. Compound sentences. Now, these are sentences that consist of two ideas joined together using linking words as one sentence. Do you understand what I mean? Compound sentences are sentences that are composed having two different ideas being connected or linked together using conjunction or linking words. Does this make any sense?
Like infant mortality.
No, not at all. Not at all. Sentences.
Okay,
sentences.
not words.
Right? Compound sentences are sentences that are formed by joining two independent ideas together using linking words, such as however, although. Now, in your essay writing, you should do more of compound words. Okay, I can see a little bit of confusion. So I will start from the necessary explanation of compounding. Yeah? Let's look at this. compound words are? Now, do you know what compound words are? Sir, do you know what compound words are?
Example can be like,
No, sir, not example.
okay,
Explanation.
whatsoever.
That's not a compound word. That's a complex word.
It's a complex one.
Do you know what a compound word is?
What if?
That's not a word. Any idea? Compound words are words that are formed by joining two independent words together to become one. Compound words are those words you form by joining two independent words together. Do you have any example in your mind? Fiber? Not yet. An example of compound word? Hmm? What? No? No?
In case.
No, sir. Okay, let's look at this guy. This will give you what?
Feedback.
Hmm? Do you know what it means?
Compound word.
What's the constituent? What are the constituents of feedback? What are the constituents?
Feed and
Feed
back.
and back. Feed and back is what
Or they can
constitutes
stand alone.
feedback.
Yeah.
Feed can stand on its own. Back can stand on its own, right?
Yeah. Supermarket.
The market are here.
I don't know, I got the very fitting.
Oh God! Are you sure you're not into business? The market. Okay, so very apt. That was very apt. So super and market will give you what? Supermarket. Now you have so many of them. So many of them. Right? Inspector and general. So how do you write this as a compound word? You see this guy? This is how to write it. This guy? This is how to write it. How do you write this guy?
Inspector General.
Please tell me what to write. Should I write inspector first?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
General.
General. Capital G or small?
Capital.
General police.
Is that correct? Agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? Alright, so if you write this, it will be incorrect. The right way to do this is your inspector hyphen general. You understand?
Another one is even self-centered.
Pardon?
Self-centered.
Self-centered.
Yeah.
Perfect. So self and centered. How do you write it to become the word
Self.
self?
Hyphen.
Correct.
Centered.
There are words that if you don't do that, it's not correct.
That slash hyphen.
Hyphen.
Don't forget all these things.
How do we write a plural version of this word? Inspector General. What's the plural version? What's the plural of Inspector General?
It doesn't have.
It has.
Inspector Generals. Put an S.
Sir, Inspector
General.
General. No, sir.
Inspectors General.
Better. Inspectors General. Hmm?
And the hyphen will still be there.
Definitely.
Toss.
Okay, that's the foundation I was talking about. Our foundation. Because these are information, knowledge that we should have gotten from primary, secondary, up to university. But we lost that. This is where the current generation of breeds are benefiting from. They are not waiting for their teachers. Their phones and gadgets. Like we know.
Not too many of them.
Okay. As far as education is concerned, it is an upbringing thing. If you are from a home that love education, you will love education. If you are from a home that don't care about education, you will care less about it. Just like
Some home love education, but the children don't.
the home don't like it. It doesn't work.
There are always exceptions. Trust me.
Out in a family of 4 children, it can only be one child that will not be interested in education. And that child has a special gift that will make him or her stand out without education. So normally, there are some families that didn't have education, but they have this zeal that their children must go to school. They do anything they can to train a child.
Selling
Materially,
No.
manually, they beat. They'll make you like the education. You don't know. You must like it. So, but during most of all, during our time, it was an option. It wasn't compulsory. You show your strengths on the farm. Some of us we will go and I went to farm before in the morning I went to farm before going to school.
Your time, are you trying to say that you're above 50 years old? Because
When I say my time, I'm talking about my time. I don't know the time you're looking at. I'm telling you my own experience.
What time do you
Early
That's what I'm trying to say now.
I went to farm here. I'm talking about Abuja, not village. Here in Abuja.
You went to farm.
Yes, in the morning.
What time is it?
By 6.
I usually get to the farm at about 6 or 6:15. Do 1 hour 30 minutes farm, rush back home.
By 8 minutes.
At 8:30, I'm in school. And guess what? I was taking first, second, third position between that range. Not because of anything, the family, the person that was pushing me for education was an educationist. But then, civil servants were not, see, it's been a long time Nigeria has been bad. The man was working in Ministry of Agriculture, so he was loaded with farming equipment. We had all in the house, free. So, working in Ministry of Agriculture, when you learn food, what does it mean?
You know why it sounding surprised to them.
Yes.
They won't understand that time you take to farm, maybe to get some vegetables, get some things for
Fresh
lunch,
things, you go home
for lunch and dinner.
You see all these sugarcane people buy. I never bought one. I carried the long ones home. So a whole lot of things. But then the irony of it is there was still the encouragement to love education. I was telling, I think Gina or someone some time ago that one of the things he told me was the programs we're enjoying now is nothing compared to what will come in the nearest future. And it's happening. There was nothing like BB Niger then. Right? What we had then was Power Rangers, Pokemon, Spider-Man. Those are the biggest. Then at evening, you hear dun, 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 dun. Tell by moonlight. You will run upstairs. Sit down, everybody will sit. Watch it.
All
All of that. But at the end of the day, if you get the right encouragement, I used to carry pocket dictionary everywhere I was going. When I go to class, I sit at the back to hear when my teacher will blow back out in English. I'll record it. Then later I'll go and look for the meaning. So all of that, you need that background. You need to be grounded, and it also, like I said, requires personal effort. No teacher can teach you everything. It's not possible. So the teacher, in fact, sometimes teachers will, when you ask them questions they don't know, they tell you it's your assignment. When a very smart student asks a question and the teacher does not know the answer, they tell you it's your assignment. Sometimes they pick offense. Don't you have respect? Huh? Can't you wait after the test to come to me? At that time, they have intimidated a child. They will not ask again. So you just need to understand that your compound and complex sentences should be used more often when you're writing an essay. So it helps the examiner to evaluate your level of sentence structure and understanding. Now, when you're giving your compound and complex sentences, you must always understand and ensure that you have the right structure of your sentences, and they should align, especially when you are making sentences that express past tenses. When you're writing on something that has happened in the past, you will use past tenses, right? And when you're using past tenses, you must realize that subject of that your sentence matters a lot. For instance, if I'm saying that when it was raining yesterday, I ran to my neighbor's house. The children was there. I knocked the door, but nobody opened. What's wrong with that sentence? The children was there.
It's wrong.
I knocked the door and nobody opened. So what's the issue, sir?
That's the issue.
Any particular word?
The children were.
Okay, the children were.
Yeah.
So why do we need to use were, sir?
You are talking about what happened previous day, so it's past tense.
Okay, where is past, right? Is that the only role that word is playing?
No.
What other role is that word playing?
Children is plural.
Plural, children. So the word where, this guy, I think weekend was good on you. Eddie, why are you? She's a bad enemy of progress. Alright, so the word where represents past tense and plural subject, children. If it were to be a singular subject, it would have been the child was, singular past. So you must ensure that the choices you're making should align with the subject while you are constructing your compound and complex sentences. Alright, lastly, if you have understood what a compound word is, you should also understand that the same approach is how you form compound sentence. Can you explain compound sentence, please? From the idea of compound word. They're not following you. Huh.
Quite serious.
Wahala Pro Max. From the explanation of compound word. Can you remember how I explained compound word?
By joining two
Two words.
Together to become one,
Yeah.
right? Some words.
Joining two sentences together now. To become one is a
Joining two independent sentences together to become one sentence. Your mouth is here. You are hot. I hope you are ready for the test. It's
Today.
No, it's this Saturday.
Yeah. I'm preparing.
Right. Now, if you have understood that super is an individual word, and you understand that market is an individual word, so when you put them together, it becomes supermarket, which is one word. Now, in this case, you do not need a hyphen, right?
Yes.
But in the case of inspector and general being put together, you need a hyphen. In sentence, compound sentence, hyphen does not work. What works is linking word. Linking word plays the role of the hyphen, the connector. Please, do you understand this? You don't understand?
Let me. What if you use two words like infotainment?
Pardon?
Infotainment.
Infotainment. Infotainment. Infotainment.
Yes.
Is that a real word?
That is, you know,
A way of joining information and entertainment together.
entertainment. Yes.
That's what I was asking you. Is it a real
Yes,
word?
because I've heard it before. That's why I'm trying.
On television?
Television, even on write-up, they say English is open-ended. Since English is open-ended, those things will come in, and you cannot say they are wrong if they make sense. Infotainment. So just help me with that, if it's correct or not.
Well, for the purpose of my record, infotainment is a newly introduced word,
Yes.
not yet in any English
Dictionary.
data, right? But it is open to be included in the nearest future. If the due processes are taken, they will include them in the dictionary. So, from my understanding of that word, infotainment, it has to do with information about entertainment. So, info represents information. Entertainment has to do with entertainment. So, they are giving you information that are entertaining you. So it could be on news, sports, economy, agriculture. So it's so rich. I don't know if you understand, sir. So, but as for the spelling, is this necessary? No. Now, let me analyze why I feel it may not be necessary. Here, this letter is a vowel letter, right? This letter is a consonant letter. So if I allow the two of them to flow, it makes sense. Infotainment. Right? Here, this is a consonant letter. This is another consonant letter. So we need to separate them to allow flow. Do you understand?
No, I understand.
So that's just how English operates. Language generally,
Wow.
if you study language.
How this particular thing I explain.
Of course, why I said that the current breed of children will benefit a lot better than most of us is because, one, the society has thrown away our native language. So you have more of English spoken around, both in their houses, at school, at their social gatherings, everywhere English. Secondly, the society now has more of gadgets that has exposed them to the global village access. So they have gone beyond your local environment. Unlike some of us, we didn't have that. What I enjoyed then when I was in secondary school was landline. Landline, basically. Then, apart from the gadgets and the exposure, the current breed of children watch more of Netflix, which is English, basically. They don't have time for your home movie. What do they want to hear? Hey, Mama Nkechi, you don't sleep again. Police don't get out. Grab your copies now. That's what they do in home movies. They don't have time for all of that. They do more of Netflix. At home, smart television, Netflix. Their system, Netflix. Their phones, Netflix. Children, the toddlers, cartoon everywhere. Their tablets, cartoon. At home, cartoon. In fact, it is a prescription for them. Cartoon in the morning before they go to school, cartoon when they return, cartoon before they go to bed.
They have access.
They have access to it. And if you don't allow them access to the cartoon, they won't eat your food. They won't listen to you.
Yeah, so.
Do you understand? So they are better exposed. You get to listen to a child who has no international passport telling you, "Oh man, I don't like that." Where? Cartoon. So they are more exposed than we are. That's why when they go for speaking tests, they perform way better. When I was teaching them speaking tests, was it Friday? You would hear Bamidele giving me some vibes of accent. The woa. You know what woa means now? That's a British accent. We don't want to do water. We were doing woa.
Water.
America says water. The British says woa.
Water.
So those are some of the exposure they are enjoying now. Okay, now for compound sentences, you join them. For instance, let's say I traveled to the US yesterday and I had a lot of fun. Meanwhile, upon arrival, I had one welcome by my family. 2 ideas. Traveling to the US, having fun. Then, upon arrival, one welcome by family. 2 ideas. Compound sentence. Please, do you understand? How did I join these 2 ideas? Meanwhile. Do you understand this? That's a linking word. Meanwhile, upon arrival, I had a warm reception.
That is MEANWHILE.
Yes, sir. Meanwhile. So that's for compound sentences. Now let's look at complex sentences. The art or practice of joining more than 2 independent ideas together to become one using linking words. Do you understand this? We have some complex words too. I join these 3 words together.
Father-in-law.
Father-in-law is a complex word.
Mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
All the in-laws. Then you gave us a word earlier. Whatsoever. Whatsoever. That's why I told you it's not a compound word. So what is one word, so is one word, ever is one word. Put together, I'll give you one word. Whatsoever. But that word does not need hyphen. But father-in-law must have what? Hyphen. How many hyphens do we have in father-in-law? 2? 1? 1 is 2. After father, after in, after father, after in. You must know them. These are natural knowledge you must have acquired.
Yes.
If you write them, if you don't apply the right hyphen at the right places, your word becomes incorrect. And if you don't bring in the hyphen, it's no longer a complex word. So you just something you must know. So for complex sentences, you should also apply your linking words. Now, when you apply your linking words, how do you put them in? What do you do? After expressing the first idea,
Hyphen.
comma,
Comma.
then bring in a linking word, then another comma before you continue. Do you understand? Okay, there are some complex sentences you make.
They are disturbing this class.
There are some complex sentences that don't need hyphen. Let me give us an example. Please, how many sentences do we have right here?
Three.
Three sentences.
Four.
Four sentences.
Okay, four.
Okay, four sentences. How many sentences can you see?
Four.
I don't know, you can see how many?
Yes, four.
Four. And how many can you see? Four. Why are we seeing four sentences? Yes, sir.
Because of the full stop.
Because of the full stops. So where are the full stops? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there are 4 independent sentences here. In just 2 minutes or less, please compose the sentence to become one. This
Become one.
to become just one sentence.
We write.
Yes, please. You can write in 2 minutes.
Oh.
Sorry, if I would just ask one question. Can we take out, can we
Yes, you have
summarize?
to.
You, however, you can create. What I need is create a sentence. Is that a job? Okay, this is a job. This is a job. Share.
What do you guys want? What do you guys supposed to do? Okay, make it one. Everything.
Few seconds more. Did you say the 2 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
On 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay. Thank you. Timekeeper. All right. So let's see what we have been able to do. On the board, we have Mowgli is a friendly, intelligent young man. Mowgli is an American. He is a professional footballer. He enjoys watching football match, traveling, and making friends.
Should we make it complex? Like
Yes. So it becomes one sentence. Okay, so let's see what you have.
Mowgli is a friendly, intelligent young man. A footballer who enjoys watching football match, traveling and making friends.
you're stuck.
Alright. But you missed something. Apart from that, you also missed another thing. Yes, sir.
Mowgli is an American. He is friendly, a professional footballer whose hobbies are watching matches, traveling, and making friends.
Nice attempt. I'll come back to your sentence.
No.
What's no?
So I agree with you.
See,
You agree with him?
Let me just start.
No. He paraphrased. He did some paraphrasing, though. We didn't ask anybody to paraphrase. That's why I said I'll come back to
Let me join it.
Okay, you have something?
Okay. Mowgli is a friendly, intelligent young man, comma. Mowgli is an American, comma. A professional footballer that love or that enjoys watching football match, traveling and making friends.
Okay. I have some concerns from what you have. Nice attempt, actually. So coming from your head. Yes, ma'am?
Mowgli is a friendly, intelligent young man, Mowgli is an American, he's a professional footballer, he enjoys watching football matches,
Football match.
traveling and making friends. Full stop.
The aim is to have just one.
Wow.
Well done. I like that.
come on. I get it.
Yeah. That's the aim.
He's okay.
Comma.
Alright, that's exactly what's supposed to be. So nice attempts from everyone. Now, when you are trying to compress multiple sentences to become one, first, is a proper noun mentioned twice? You note it down. Is the pronoun mentioned more than once? You note it down. Because those are factors you want to eliminate. Mowgli was mentioned more than once. So, in your composition, it should be just once. His pronoun, he, was mentioned
Once.
about twice. So, it should also appear once. Now, you can bring in some demonstrative adjectives. Who? Because you're talking about a human. Aha! That's where it should come in. So, Mowgli is a friendly, intelligent, young American. The name alone shows male. Then, to eliminate, since you have eliminated this should stand in for him. I don't know if you understand.
Yes.
But from what I'm thinking, Mowgli now is friendly, intelligent. You should take the young man out. You include the young man. Is it not? Is it okay?
It's okay. That's okay, right? Young American, comma, a professional footballer who what are the flows?
Whose hobby
Okay, you can also bring that in. Whose hobbies
hobbies
include
include or are
Okay.
use are
Okay, that's okay too. Watching football match, traveling. Don't remove this guy. No. Please come.
comma yeah.
When you are listing things, comma must always come before the last idea.
Okay, what if you say traveling, comma, making friends? You take the and completely off. Is it okay?
It's okay, but it's not complete in English.
It must be and.
Yes.
Yes, that's the last thing.
Thank you.
And for you to bring this and, don't say because it's the last thing you're bringing in. This guy is compulsory. It must be there before the and. Right? Okay, so this is how to achieve complex sentence. You can see that all the information is there. Yet, one sentence. So this is how your essay should come. Do more of it in your essay writing. Avoid short sentences. They won't pay you. Do more of compound and complex sentences. That's what we do. Alright, so let's look at the last part. Advanced expressions.
So these are complex sentences.
Yes, this is just an example of a complex sentence. Advanced expressions. Okay, so for a good result or performance or experience in essay writing, you must work towards achieving advanced expressions. So for you to easily achieve advanced expressions, these are keys that you are advised to bring in. So the first thing there is linking words. What are linking words? These are words that are used to join or connect two or more independent ideas together to become one. In English, you call them conjunctions. Conjunctions. Examples of linking words. So we have the likes of however, although, meanwhile, whereas, contrarily, while, and maybe on the other hand. These are examples of linking words that you should bring in when you are writing. These are advanced linking words. There are several others, right? That we use generally and commonly and but. So therefore, there's so many. But these are a lot more advanced. Use them to achieve advanced expressions. If you bring in linking words, you are seamlessly going to produce compound and complex sentences. It is seamless. You will generate them with ease. Because for you to bring in any of these words, there's another idea you want to have. Let's look at sequencers. What are sequencers? From the root word sequence. Sequencers are words or phrases that are used to either begin a paragraph or introduce an additional point in a paragraph. Sequencers are words or phrases that are used to either begin a paragraph or introduce an additional idea in a paragraph.
begin a paragraph or
Introduce an additional point in a paragraph. Do we understand this? Examples of sequencers. First and foremost, furthermore, additionally, subsequently, consequently, consequently, nonetheless, nevertheless, notwithstanding, it's fine. Contrarily, comparatively, summarily, conclusively, in light of the above. In light of the above. These are words or phrases that you can use to either begin a paragraph or introduce an additional point in your paragraph. Please, is this clear to us? Quickly, let's look at idioms. What are idioms? What are idioms? Who knows? Idioms.
idioms are like proverbs.
Hmm.
They are like proverbs.
Better not.
They are not completely proverbs.
Then what are proverbs?
Proverbs are just wise saying.
Words of wisdom.
Wisdom.
But they are not words now.
Words. Okay. Okay, they are idioms.
IELTS.
Small idioms. Wise saying.
Idioms are idioms are expressions that don't mean what they seem. Idioms are expressions that don't mean what they seem. They have deeper meanings than their literary appearance.
Seems now. SEEMS.
What they seem.
Do we need a I
No.
S?
Yes.
No S.
No.
Sim. No S
At all.
after the M.
Yes. If you write seems, it becomes singular. But the pronoun there is they. So they is plural. Now, let's look at that definition. Idioms are expressions or information that don't mean what they seem. So, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
It doesn't mean what it seems.
What they
What
seem.
it seems.
What does that mean?
Maybe it can have some. It can have a word.
Define it.
It might have a word that is tied to something that almost sounds like it, but
But what?
but it's a it's completely different.
Are you trying to confuse me? Haven't you? The explanation. I don't know where to put it. But I know it means something, Sha. Alright, so idioms, like what he's trying to explain, he's not using the right word. When we say that they are information or expressions that don't mean what they seem, it means, simply put, what you read is not what it means. It has a different, deeper meaning. Right? I always use the example, she kicked the bucket. Is it not for someone that is playing that just kick the bucket, right? But the meaning is way deeper. She kicked the bucket. Right? Now, some IELTS experts will tell you don't use idioms. They are informal expressions. I'll tell you that. But I always tell people, do you think it's an informal expression? Do you think idioms are informal expressions? On your own. Analyze English now. Do you think idioms are informal expressions?
Yes.
You think so? Fine. What's your reason? Why do you think it is?
Because if I'm writing and then I see she kicked the bucket, I could just mean that she kicked the bucket. So, and how would I know that the examiner wants to, or the person that's marking will think that the person died?
Right? Do you agree with him?
Yes.
Very correct. But when you're writing an idiom, do you just write it as a normal sentence? Hmm?
No.
How do you write idioms?
Like you must have written something close to, like you use it to end. Yes.
So, she was flown to the US and was quickly sent into the ICU, the intensive. The ICU means what?
A word.
Intensive care unit.
Yes.
So she was attended to by the best hands in the world. Of course, she revived. But the next day, she kicked the bucket. However, the next day, she kicked the bucket. She was treated by the best hands.
And she
Of
revived.
course, she revived. However, the next day, she kicked the bucket. Would that mean that she started playing?
No.
She kicked the bucket.
But he told us that it does not matter. As long as you don't come out, if you don't come direct, that they will still mark you wrong.
No, let me understand that. Okay?
You said that if we're not direct with what we mean,
I'm trying to explain I'm trying to even buttress what you've explained. Now, what I'm asking is, if I give this narrative linking what you have said to explanation, if I use this narrative and end it using, however, the next day she kicked the bucket, what would that pass? Playing?
No.
No, it would mean that she died the next day.
She died the next day
Yes.
after reviving, after being treated by the person.
Yes.
Then the next day she kicked the bucket.
Not that she's expressing death.
Okay, now back to what you gotten from my training. However, she kicked the bucket. I'm not going to write it as just a casual part of that sentence. In quotation. It's going to be in quotes. So when something is in quotes, it stands for something. Don't forget that. I also said that because of the fear of being or playing the role of informal expression in your sentence, I said when you write it in bracket, explain it. However, the next day, in quote, she kicks the bucket, close your quotation, open bracket, she passed. Alright. Close your bracket. Who misinterprets she kicked the bucket? Then you have that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, my question was, do you think that idiomatic expressions are informal? Yes, yes. Why? Because people would misinterpret it to mean what it appears, right? But do you know what? Informal expressions are generally understood by all and sundry, irrespective of your level of exposure. Is that correct? But if I say, I've known that birds of a feather flock together, is everyone that can understand this? It's only those who are exposed, those who are learned, those who are well read, that will understand what.
Marking IELTS if you don't know simple things like that.
Pardon?
How will you be marking IELTS if you don't know simple things like that?
I don't understand. No, I don't understand.
Why would the
No,
examiner?
why would the examiner not
understand?
or
Why
know
will he be
if
marking?
it's marked, if it's IELTS
Okay,
marker?
okay.
As
That's
an
why.
examiner, you should know things like this.
That's why I'm trying to explain that it's not informal. Because it takes someone who is well read to understand that birds of a feather flock together means like minds are always in the same company. Do you understand me? It's deep. It's not open to the low educated.
Sorry,
He has
let
to
me
think
ask
before.
those. Okay, then if you talk about idioms and proverbs, what are the separating lines
Between what and what?
idioms and proverbs?
Proverbs are beliefs. They are traditional beliefs and sayings that have core meanings. Proverbs are more of. Wait, do you both have proverbs?
Every tribe,
Every tribe.
folk tale stories. Yeah, you see some elements of proverbs.
Proverbs are peculiar to Africa.
Africa, yes,
That's the truth.
and they will not accept it.
Proverbs are peculiar to Africa. They tell you if you are a new chicken in a land, you must always stand with one leg. Meaning what?
You have to.
They tell you you cannot jump a big hole with your two legs. You have to. Which one? They tell you what an old man sees when he's lying down. A young man, even if you're in an aeroplane, we use drone. We're going to use drone. We see it. What an old man sees while lying down, they say if you like, climb a tree. We'll see it. We use drone this time. We'll see it.
Cola lasts longer.
Mouth of
who values.
it's when the man is not hungry for kola. It's just one bite. Everything is finished. So all those things are more of African culture and beliefs, right? If Amechi goes to the village, the grandpa comes out and starts using proverbs. Do you think Amechi will understand? Okay, you just be listening to the man. Oh yeah, when he finishes, yeah, thank you, sir. You go. One thing from the proverbs you will not understand. But you see idioms, Amechi can interpret some idioms because he has gotten to certain level of exposure in education. So for me, I always tell my clients, if you want to use idioms, please use, but be very cautious when you use them by applying the explained version of it in bracket to avoid. I don't understand.
It's even time wasting.
it may be time wasting, but it helps you to achieve your over 250 words.
Because you have to put, then you, okay, to
But
stress
you have more
words.
Do you understand me?
Okay, that's very
It's even more advanced for
Because
me.
you use and you explain.
The explanation is not writing long. Like she picked the bucket in brackets, she passed on.
This essay is how many minutes, please?
40 minutes.
And I will type 250
Over.
over 200 within that time.
Wait, so how many?
250 words, 40 minutes.
And another one is not less than 150.
That's for 20 minutes.
Not less than
150.
150.
20 minutes. That's for your letter writing. That's one.
And we are talking of 400 words in less than
1 hour. 1 hour. Minimum. Alright, so these are the major do's and don'ts in essay writing. We are supposed to look at how your essays are being marked, evaluated. There are 4 yardsticks used by examiners to evaluate your essays. 4 yardsticks. Tomorrow, by God's grace, tomorrow I will open up to that 4 yardsticks. Please, I pray we'll be here early so that we treat the 4 yardsticks, go into the formula for writing an essay and how to develop an essay fully by God's grace. So we'll break all of that down tomorrow. What's available. Meanwhile, this, please go and work. There's a lot of job here. Finding words from different sectors, getting their meanings, learning how to apply them in written and spoken English, building their synonyms. A lot of job. So if you are able to get that, it will be easier. Imagine treating a question and you're using the right terminology for it. You're telling the examiner, don't joke with me, I know what I'm doing. Than bringing in terminology for agriculture when you are treating health. So it's going to be a very terrible thing. So please, we shall continue tomorrow, beginning from the 4 yardsticks used for evaluating your essays. Thank you so much.
So you said you should